Welcome to Lively Lewis Stories.
Buckle up, because you're about to join Levi and Ivy on an adventure.
All you need is your imagination, and
Off we go! Lively Lewis Stories!
Hey there, awesome friends.
Guess what?
We're super thrilled to share some exciting news with you.
We've got our very own Lively Lewis merchandise.
Woohoo! Grab your parents and head over to livelylewishshop.com or simply click on the link below in our show notes.
Now, let's dive into today's story.
Ivy, Maddie's at the door. She wants to know if you can go out to play, called Ivy's mom from the front door. Ivy had been up in her room staring at her spelling words. And I do mean staring. Not studying, not spelling them, not even trying to sound them out. She was just completely overwhelmed with the list. This was the first big test she and her class would be taking. Ivy wasn't the strongest speller and was worried about her upcoming test the following week. Her teacher, Miss Thompson, had given all her students the list of words well ahead of time so everyone could study all week long. Ivy, did you hear me? Called her mom again. Ivy was so focused on being worried about her test that she didn't hear her mom calling the first time. The second call got her attention and she jumped up from her desk. Sure, Mom, I can play, shouted Ivy as she ran out of her room, dropping her list of spelling words on the ground by her desk. She was happy to have any distraction from actually starting to tackle the enormous list of confusing words. You don't have any homework, right? Asked Ivy's mom as she said hello to Maddie and put her shoes on. Now, since the test wasn't until next week, technically Ivy didn't have any homework. She had to do that night. She answered no to her mom's question and headed out the door with Maddie. They ran into her backyard and jumped on the tire swing. As they flew through the air, they spun around and around. Maddie asked Ivy if she started looking over the words for their spelling test. Ivy didn't really want to think about the test because it made her nervous and anxious. So she pretended she didn't hear the question and instead asked Maddie if she wanted to play tag. Tag, you're it! Shouted Ivy as she jumped off the tire swing and ran toward her treehouse. Maddie chased after her. Wow, Ivy, you're really fast, said Maddie a bit out of breath. You're going to be a tough one to tag. Tough. T-O-U-G-H. Ivy knew exactly why Maddie had just spelled out the word, though. She recognized it from their spelling list, and Maddie loved to study every chance she got. She loved spelling and was really smart. Spelling just came easy to Maddie and lots of Ivy's other classmates. Ivy felt nervous and hoped that Maddie wouldn't ask her to spell any of the words from their class list. She ran faster and even climbed the ladder to her treehouse to get as far away from Maddie as she could. Okay, Ivy, I give up. You're too quick for me, said Maddie, huffing and puffing as she made her way up the ladder. Quick. Q-U-I-C-K. Ivy sat in her treehouse and heard Maddie spelling as she made her way up the ladder. How about you try spelling a word from our big list? Asked Maddie. I always like making a game out of my studying. It makes it fun, but I'm learning at the same time. I don't like to mix studying and playing, said Ivy, just hoping that Maddie would stop asking, but she didn't. That's one of our words, exclaimed Maddie. Playing. Can you spell it, Ivy? Ivy knew she couldn't pretend to not hear Maddie now. She was looking right at her. She realized she had to give it a try, but felt scared that if she got it wrong, Maddie would laugh at her. Okay, Ivy began. Plain. P. Then, as if by magic, Ivy's mom called out to her and Maddie asking if they wanted a chocolate chip cookie. Oh, chocolate chip cookies? My favorite, shouted Maddie as she turned to head down the treehouse ladder. Ivy got a huge smile on her face. She didn't have to spell anything in front of Maddie, and she got a cookie. Win-win. As Maddie and Ivy sat on the deck enjoying their cookies, Ivy did everything she could to steer the conversation away from spelling words. It was a bit exhausting, and Ivy was happy to hear that Maddie had to run home for dinner. Okay, I'll see you at school tomorrow, said Ivy as Maddie got up to leave. School. S-C-H-O-O-L, said Maddie. That's a good one. Because it's a trick word, the CH makes a K sound, so a lot of people spell it S-K-O-O-L. But we know that's wrong. Right, Ivy? Yeah, definitely totally wrong, said Ivy looking down at the ground. I have to head inside. Bye, Maddie. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, Ivy. B-Y-E. Bye, said Maddie as she ran out of the backyard. Ivy walked inside slowly, talking to herself as she walked into the kitchen. "What am I going to do about this spelling test?" whispered Ivy. "I'm already not the best speller, and on top of that, I really don't like tests." She was so consumed thinking about her test that she didn't notice her mom was standing right in front of her. "I know, maybe if I don't study, then I won't be disappointed if I get a bad grade," thought Ivy. "I'll just expect it and it won't be a surprise." Ivy kept muttering to herself until her mom interrupted her. "Ivy, what's this about a spelling test?" asked her mom, making Ivy take a seat at the kitchen table. "Is there anything I can do to help? I know when I feel overwhelmed or nervous about something, it makes me feel better to talk about it rather than just try and avoid it." Ivy sat down and told her mom everything she was thinking. How tests made her nervous, how she doubted herself, how she wondered what her friends would think, how she thought they would laugh at her, and how she just wanted to give up. Ivy's mom put her arm around her daughter and gave her a big hug. She never wanted Ivy or Levi to feel nervous or overwhelmed, but she knew that was a part of life. That there would always be challenges, but it's how you deal with them and learn from them that truly matters. But for this particular situation, Ivy's mom had some first-hand experience. "Ivy, your dad and I only ask that you try your best. We're here for you if there's anything we can do to help. You know that," said Ivy's mom. "But there's something you don't know. I have some experience dealing with just this issue." "What?" Ivy said, sounding quite surprised. "You didn't like taking tests either when you were in school?" "That's right," answered her mom. "When I was your age, I didn't like tests at all, especially spelling tests. All those big words, silent letters, special rules to remember. It was all so confusing. I just wanted to give up too. But I learned that things that are important are worth working hard for. You need to learn to spell so you can create amazing books someday from all the incredible stories you and Levi make up. Tests are just here to measure your progress. So you know how you're improving and what you may need to work on." Ivy's mom told her that her mom, Ivy's grandma, told her the same thing when she was little, and also how to make test taking fun, or at least studying for it. "I think I understand," said Ivy. "Maddie said she likes to turn her studying into a game, and she doesn't even know she's doing it because it's so much fun." "That's it exactly," said Ivy's mom. "How about we take a look at your spelling words tomorrow and we'll figure out a fun way to study?" "That sounds like a great idea," Ivy said, hugging her mom. "I'm really glad I talked to you. I should have done it sooner. And about your classmates laughing at you, get that thought out of your head," said Ivy's mom. "That is your test and you're the only one that needs to know your grade. Well, besides your teacher." Ivy smiled and walked off to her room, ready to do more than just stare at her big list of words. She was ready to start studying. She wasn't going to let her nerves hold her back from giving this test her all. And now she knew she had her family behind her, cheering her on and helping her out. She was ready for anything. The next day after she got home from school, Ivy, her parents, and her brother Levi all sat down at the dining room table. Levi was a little older than Ivy, and he knew most of the words on her list. He had a few little tricks that Ivy could use to help her remember the harder ones, and it made studying process a lot more fun. "Ivy, when you spell the word lose, just remember, even though it sounds like you should have 2 O's in there, there's only one. That's because you lose an O when spelling the word lose." "I get it!" exclaimed Ivy. "Thanks, Levi. That was really helpful." "And I thought we could see if we could find any of your spelling words in the house," began Ivy's mom. "When we do, we can write out the word on a piece of paper and tape it up, like the word light. We can write up a sign and put it right here on the light next to the couch. Now, every day you'll see it and you'll have the spelling, even that silent GH, down in no time." Ivy's dad thought it would be fun to play spelling games at dinner, and whoever got the most right got to pick dessert. Since Ivy loved all the desserts, that one was a win, no matter what. But she tried her best every night and over the week got to pick a few sweet treats for the family to enjoy. The big day finally arrived, test day, and Ivy studied her words just one last time as she sat at the kitchen table eating her cereal. "Ivy, I don't think anyone is more prepared for this test than you are," said her mom. "We are all so proud of you and all the hard work you put into studying, and no matter what grade you get, you should be proud of all you've done." "Thanks, Mom," said Ivy, giving her mom a big hug. "Just take your time and remember all the spelling tricks you learned," said Levi. "I believe in you and you should believe in yourself." Ivy folded up her spelling word list, put it in her backpack, and headed out the door for school. When she got home with Levi, her parents were both waiting excitedly to hear about the test. So? Her mom shouted with glee. How was the spelling test? I think I did really well, but we won't have the test back until tomorrow, said Ivy. But I feel really good about it. I'm so happy I talked to you, Mom, and studied. Now I know I did the best I could, and that makes me feel great. I'm proud of myself that I didn't give up. The next day after school was even more exciting for Levi and her family because she waited until she got home to look at her test. Even though she wanted more than anything to take a look at it when Miss Thompson handed it back to her at the end of the day. Miss Thompson said she was proud of me, Ivy announced in front of her parents and Levi. She said I definitely improved and she was impressed with my work. That must make you feel wonderful, said Ivy's mom. But I just have to see what you got on the test. So without wasting another second, Ivy grabbed the yellow folder in her backpack, looked at her test, and finally saw what she had worked so hard for. I got an 85, shouted Ivy. That's awesome! Yay, Ivy! Exclaimed her family, high-fiving her and giving her big hugs. I think I know who's picking dessert tonight, said Ivy's dad. Congratulations! Levi and Ivy's dad walked out of the living room, leaving Ivy with her mom. Ivy, remember the feeling that you feel right now, her mom began. That's a very important and powerful feeling. It's the feeling of facing a challenge, giving it everything you've got, and accomplishing something great. So the next time something makes you feel nervous or you're unsure if you can do it, believe in yourself the way I do, and nothing will ever hold you back. Ivy gave her mom a hug and thanked her again for the encouragement and help. I can't wait for the next test, said Ivy. I'm sure I'll do Great. Great. Did you learn a lesson from this story?
If so, what was it?
And parents, do your kids have a story idea?
Leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, the idea, and your kid's name for a chance to join Levi and Ivy on their next adventure. Until next time.
Thanks for listening. Come back for more.